Hey guys, and welcome to the post-game analysis of game number 2 of this series with Epex versus Tom. So what did you think of that game, Eric?
I enjoyed seeing the Wraith. Didn't really pay off against the hunters that they had picked. I think he might have been okay, actually, if they hadn't gotten the hide up onto the high ground there when he was evolving as quickly as they did. He almost made it out of the dome, almost survived, but not quite. So I think that was just kind of a outpicked scenario.
Because Hyde is actually a direct counter to Wraith and the ability to punish almost everything that they do, right? Because if they go in close, bam, you're getting Flame Breath and Toxic Grenade. And if you try and get a decoy to eat some corpses, guess what? You're going to see a Toxic Grenade on that corpse. And if you try and do basically anything, you're going to see a lot of damage coming from Hyde. Hyde is definitely a very strong pick versus Wraith. So I definitely agree with that, and it was very well done making sure they picked that up.
Yeah, nice play from them. So, Shenanigans won that first game pretty decisively, I would say. Do you think he's going to pick up the Behemoth?
I don't know. I don't know what he's going to pick. He could pick up whatever he wants. Shenanigans is a multi-monster, so he plays Kraken primarily, but he does practice the other three. So who knows what he can... He might try Wraith as well, just to see how it goes. The next map is looking like... Oh, sorry, the map was Dam, sorry, on the previous matches. Sorry, guys. But we'll have to see what he does. There's a lot of options available. He does have playroom at this point, so... It is 2-0 in the series. It's a best of 5, which means if he wins the next game, it's over, done, finish. But if he doesn't win, then he can still rely on his Hunter team to pick up that 4th game, right? Or if it goes into a tiebreaker, he has a lot of options. There's still 3 more matches for them to win 1, so they have a 30% chance, right? Or sorry, 33.3 repeating till infinity.
Oh, yes.
So we'll have to see exactly what they pick.
So the question really at this point is, how enormous are Shenanigans' testicles? Does he want to pick Behemoth? Does he want to pick something fun? Or does he just want to win?
I'm pretty sure Behemoth is just one giant testicle. So he's just a
Yeah.
giant ball. So his balls are definitely... He's going balls deep. So he'll be able to make sure that he does that. And Behemoth, I would love to see played more. Would love to see what he's able to do with the fissures and the rock walls, as being able to control the zoning. Because most of Behemoth is actually zoning control in domes. The lava surge is controlling an area. It burns it down and gets control of that. Fissure is to knock him up in the air and get him off those high points. Rock wall creates a wall where they can't shoot you through unless there's a Cabot. Cabot's the exception that proves the rule. So we don't know what he's going to pick. Wraith is one of those situations where nowadays I don't see Wraith getting picked, and that game is a perfect example of why Wraith needs something. And it's not necessarily, that needs a buff, because the damage numbers are right. It's just that she can't get away. There is no hope of getting away.
And you have to ask yourself, is that just the meta right now?
I think the meta plays a huge part of it, because holding that dome, if they threw that dome, right, and he had the time after he evolved, he could go, and he could be gone. Sure, he took a little bit of damage here and there, but he was fine. So the power of holding that dome and maintaining that control is huge. Huge, you could say. So we don't actually know what's happening at this point. We'd have to see what they do, how much control they get, and... Who knows? We might be able to see, as anyone knows that watches my stream regularly, knows that I'm not a huge fan of Wraith in current meta, which is just because of the vulnerability you have during your skills. Like, if Warp Blast was a ranged ability where you shot it like a little ball, then maybe a little different. But there are certain things that just make Wraith conflicting. Wraith is very much dive in, deal damage, do what you can, but at the same time, you're overexposing on a monster that has almost no armor pool and no health pool, so... I don't know.
A hard monster to play, so...
Yeah, definitely a very hard and very skillful monster.
Yeah, interesting to see it at least, but unfortunately not quite working the way it ought to. Do you think that if he had tried to stealth a little better, it would have worked? Or was the aid pick just enough to completely ruin that?
As much as I may dislike Wraith for whatever reason, his play that game, Karmatoris, was... excellent, superb. Tried to stealth, used the decoy appropriately to try and buy time on that tracking dart. The problem is that he wasn't able to lose him, and it wasn't because he didn't play right. He played phenomenally, and he did everything just perfect, but it still wasn't enough to be able to get that space from the Hunter team. They had full control over where he was with the tracking dart. He was able, it's like, okay, you decoyed. Alright, so where are you after the decoy? I think maybe the one thing I could have possibly changed would be switching it from a 1-point decoy stage 1 to a 2-point decoy stage 1. And then, keeping the Warp Blast, of course, for traversal, because it gives you extra distance. But with the decoy, he needs to be able to using it to get more space. Either that, or he needs to be doing something else to protect him. Maybe using Supernova to reduce incoming damage is another option. Or maybe changing up a perk here and there. I'm pretty sure he ran traversal speed, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well, do you think that maybe this is just the strength of the tracking dart? Do you think that the tracking dart might be too strong?
No, because if you run into a Maggie, Daisy's always pointing at where the real one is. Right? Daisy is the Trapjaw, the Hound, the lovable pet that she always will be, and there's always that. With the... And, sorry, just responding to chat, but with Daisy, her ability to just lock down and control exactly where you're located and always points in the right direction. It may not be exact, but it's always pointed in the right direction. Unless she bugs, then she bugs. But there's only certain spots.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what is going on with the next game? We got a little bit of a delay here.
I do not know. We're in the lobby, we're waiting for it to start, but we don't know what's going on. I think I think Taw's just doing some talking, just trying to figure out what they want to do. Doing some strategizing, which I'm okay with. They're also missing one person in the lobby, actually.
They're down 0-2, so they're going to want to talk about what they need to do to win the next 3 games, which is a tall order, but...
They're missing their assault right now, actually.
They can do it. Are they?
Yeah, I don't know where he is. So... I don't know. Maybe they're changing it out. Maybe they're going to have someone else sit in. Who knows? They're just making changes, right? Which is fine. They can make their changes. It gives us more time to talk about the matches. Now, since we didn't actually get much time, right, to talk about game number 1, right, we had to call Shenanigans pretty dominantly roll all over the dam, right? And he got full control. It was a nice tight dome, but at the same time, you ran against an Aftershock Kraken. You don't want a tight dome against an Aftershock Kraken. You want space to run and dodge, right? So, with that tight dome, kind of secured their fate, ended up getting them killed. What did you think?
Standard Shenanigans games. I think last week he had the shortest game we saw, at about 2 minutes long.
Yeah. I think that one was 2:58, I think.
Yeah, something like that. And it's just the way that he plays, you dome him and you can't get out. It's the Rorschach, I'm not trapped in here with you, you're trapped in here with me.
Oh, Rorschach.
Oh, yeah.
And we actually do see we have another player joining the lobby. I'm assuming they're going on the assault role, which means they're swapping out VDub for Hulu Plus. And no, I'm not talking about the service, I'm talking about the player.
I have never seen Hulu Plus play. What can you tell me about him? Anything?
I actually haven't seen him play that much. To be honest, I thought he was a support player, but I might be wrong. I haven't seen him play much. It's one of those things I've seen him in a lobby, but that's about it. To be nice, maybe he's the Ninja, pro Evolve play. Maybe he's going to be the next Insane or the next Frozen Synapse or Aurora Symphony. Who knows? Maybe he's the next Chipper. We'll have to find out exactly what he does. So, as we go, and we'll have to see exactly what Hulu Plus does, maybe a little bit differently on the assault position, just dealing out more damage to call Shenanigans during those domes. Because the more damage they deal out, the more intimidated the monster is to engage, right? Shenanigans right now isn't scared. Fear is a big aspect of Evolve. The Hunter team has to make sure that monster is afraid of them. Right?
Yeah.
If you're not afraid...
You saw that demonstrated in the last game. That Wraith was terrified of the Hunters. He spent the whole game running as fast as he could.
Yep.
So, do you think Shenanigans feels fear? Is he capable of fear?
I don't know if Shenanigans is capable of fear. I don't think I've seen a game where he was afraid to engage. There have definitely been games where I was playing and I was afraid to engage because I knew the team and I knew that once they had me, right? But Shenanigans is one of those guys. He's like, okay, that's it. You're mine now. You're in my turf. Alright, you put this dome. Alright. You see that tree? That's my favorite tree. That tree's mine now. And you can't take that from me. That's how he plays. He just kind of takes ownership of whatever field you put him in. And we are getting in now. Okay, so the game's about to start, guys. We are getting into game number 3 of the series of TAW versus Epex Apocalypse, and we are going to have to see how this goes with their changes. Alright, guys, we'll be back in just a moment. I'm excited to see what they bring forward, and we'll see what's going on.